Hi, this is Robert Plenick here in a Brutal Iron Gym. In this video, I wanted to go through some treatments that you can use to address tight calf muscles. So this would be kind of treatments you can do if you see swelling in the lower calves, and that's preventing some movement in your ankle and or just general tightness in your calf muscles, kind of Achilles tendon area. So people will feel various symptoms based on this tightness. Either they can't find appropriate depth and positioning for squats due to ankle mobility issues, and or they'll be having kind of like pains in the heel of their feet or the arches of their feet, which are kind of like pains associated with like plantar fasciitis types of things like that. So if you're having any issues related to ankle movement, these are some drills and some things that you can do to address that. So one of the first things you can do, and it's very, very simple, but very effective, is to actually just get your ankles moving. So if you work at a desk, this is a great strategy you can use, is just simply back away a little bit from the desk, get some room. I'll kind of move here so you can see my feet. And then just having your legs in the air, you can prop them up with your hands if you want. And we're just going to make ankle circles. So you can go in this direction, and if you do it this way for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, that can help get blood flow going. Also, if you change into the other direction, you can get blood flow going that way as well. You can also pull them and extend them, just kind of move them around. So a lot of times people underestimate the benefit of general movement. So that would be the first thing. You can do that multiple times a day if you'd like. And that's a good way to create movement and blood flow, fluid flow. You'll actually feel heat in your ankles, and that's a really good treatment. Another option we have is to use a wall space, which you'll see right here. And I'm going to show you what you can do with that. So we can wedge our foot in where I put my heel a little bit away from the wall, put my toe into the wall, and then I can leave my leg straightened, and I can actually push in towards the wall, and that'll actually start to stretch my calf muscles. So in our calves, we actually have two sets of muscles. We have what's called your gastrocnemius and your soleus. So if we look at the muscle man chart here, this muscle that we see on the outside with these two bumps, that's your gastrocnemius. So we look down at my leg, that's the bumpy muscle that we can see there, right down there. So that's the gastrocnemius. Underneath that muscle, we also have something called the soleus, and those can get tight in different degrees for different reasons. The soleus tends to get tight for sitting and inactivity. The gastrocnemius tends to get tight from just explosive jumping activity, running, things like that. So movements of actually activity. So if I leave my legs straight and I do this wall stretch, that addresses one of the muscles. Then the next time I would actually bend my knee and push into the wall, and that addresses the other. So you would actually want to do a knee bend stretch and a leg straight stretch. So you can actually hold those positions for about 30 seconds each if you want. I like to do small little pulses in and out, as that just kind of helps me create a little bit more intense stretching. Or you can kind of get into it and then hold, and that'll slowly let the muscle actually release. So those are stretches you can do against any wall, any surface. Sometimes it can be even just a leg of a table, or if you're a home gym, you can use the kind of like kind of post of your squat rack, and you can kind of go into that movement like that kind of surface as well. So we have ankle circles in a bunch of different directions. We have presses against the wall, where we can do a straight leg and a knee bend variation. Another option we have is what's called floss bands. So I'll set this up and try to show everybody. So what we can do is we can actually use what is a kind of a band that's kind of like a latex, like rubbery type, I guess, material. And basically it stretches, it has stretchability to it. These are called floss bands or voodoo bands. And what we can do with that is we can actually sit and actually wrap our ankle. So let me kick my shoe off, because you want to do it on just kind of like a sock if you want to kind of save some pinching on your skin. But what you can do with these bands, you can get these on a bunch of different sites, like Rogue Fitness has them. But there's a pretty much Amazon will have these as well. So you just type Voodoo Band or Floss Band, but that's what you look for. And what we want to do is we start at the base of the toes, and I want to wrap around. And typically the amount of tension that we're trying to apply is roughly about half of whatever stretch is capable of the band. So if you see here, if I could stretch it, say that far, I just want to stretch half as much and then wrap it around. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and go all the way around my foot, and I want to go down towards my ankle. If we start at our toes, as I'm doing this, I'm also going to push fluid up out of the ankle, and rather than trapping it down into the toe. So I'll get around here, super flexible as you can tell. So if I wrap this around a couple times, what I'll do when I get to my ankle bone is I'll actually leave the ankle bone open, the heel open, and I'll bring it up around the ankle. Now I can pull it around this way, take it back over my foot, and pull it again up around the heel. So you can see I have my heel kind of exposed there. Now, with that positioning, I can start wrapping up my ankle. So here we go. And as I wrap up my ankle, I'll be pushing the fluid out of that tissue, and that's going to help also create more movement simply by just opening up more space for the muscles to work. So once I get it up high enough and I start kind of running out of the band, I can then just kind of pull the band around, lift up the last layer around it, and tuck that underneath. Now that that is covered, I can actually do my wall stretches again. And now what this does is that band will actually pin down some tissues for us. So as I get into that position, and again I push into the wall or I do a knee bend stretch, either way, I tend to get a better stretch and pull because all those tissues are actually kind of pinned down around the joint, meaning as I push into it, the rest of the tissue up through the belly of the muscle has to actually open and stretch. So those are 3 ways you can address the ankle if you want to improve kind of mobility and loosen tight calves. Is ankle circles and wall stretches with a straight leg or bent leg without the floss band on, and you can also add the floss band. And then the 4th tip we have, these are all kind of just kind of building on each other, but this last one is a pretty quick and easy one. You can purchase one of these on Amazon, really cheap. It's just basically a calf stretch device. You put your foot in here, and you can see where my fingers are is where the heel goes against that part. Let me lock my phone in place, and then I'll show you. So my heel would go against where my fingers are. This area goes on the ground, which is why they have these kind of like pads to kind of give good stick to the ground. So once I have that, I can actually set that on the ground, and using anything near me for balance, I can put my foot in here, and I can actually apply pressure by just putting my body weight on here, and I can roll forward and backward if I like, or I can just kind of sit back into the stretch and just kind of let that tension pull on that muscle. So this is actually very similar to the wall stretch, but you don't need a wall. So you just need that device. And what's nice about that is it's portable. So what I'll do with my workouts sometimes is I'll just carry that thing around, and in between sets of like leg press or lunges or anything, I can just carry that device around with me and get some stretches in. So those are 4 treatment options in one video that you can use. So give them all a try. They all work differently, so you can find which one addresses your problem the best, and then just do that one more frequently. So all these treatments, they can be done every single day. You can even do them multiple times a day. So just keep after it. If you have any questions along the way, just shoot us a message at our website at www.brutalirongym.com, and I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.